Kavina.
Annika Schütz-Bradwell, 67. Moderator, you come to Iona looking for peace and quiet, and you leave looking for peace and justice. This phrase has often been repeated in describing what makes the island so special. The Isle of Iona is a stimulating and peaceful place, and the work of the different Christian groups who receive guests there week after week is inspirational. The Iona community welcomes guests at the Abbey each week, as well as at Camas on the Ross of Mull. The work of the Iona community changes lives, that of its guests and participants, of the volunteers who spend weeks or months bringing the centers to life, of its resident staff and its members. The members continue to live an Iona life, seeking for peace and justice in their homes all across the UK and increasingly worldwide. They volunteer, they campaign, they meet in issue-based networks, they work in word and deed to make the world that bit better. 18 years ago, on a cold March morning, I got off the ferry on Iona for the first time as one of its international volunteers. I can truthfully state that the Iona community has changed my life. Without it, I most certainly wouldn't be a Church of Scotland minister today. For this past year, I have had the privilege of convening the Iona Community Board, which each year reports on the life and work of the Iona community to our General Assembly. The board includes Iona community members and a number of us appointed by the General Assembly, and crucially has an equal number of ecumenical members representing their own churches. The Iona community has its origins and its roots in the Church of Scotland and is firmly ecumenical in all aspects of its life. Moderator, it is the tradition of the Assembly that the leader of the Iona community presents the majority of the board's report. So may I respectfully request that you invite the Reverend Ruth Harvey, current leader of the Iona community, to address the Assembly.
Delighted to do so, Ruth.
Moderator, convener, my thanks for this opportunity to introduce the report of the board of the Iona community to the General Assembly. In a world where climate catastrophe is writ large, where poverty gallops on apace, where exclusion and marginalisation continue to blight the lives of millions, and where the voice of young people is often squashed, the question for all of us, Christian communities around the globe and people of good faith worldwide, remains: what is ours now to do? So communities of faith like ours, we live within a framework of hope. Hope in God's time, a kairos time, resonant more of emergence than of strategy. Hope in the not yet nestled within the now. Hope in the resurrection in the midst of chaos. Hope in the small, ordinary miracles of love and justice in the face of so much that is wrong. A hope that extends us beyond optimism to a faith that, despite all that changes, reassures us that we will not fall apart. In the words of Rowan Williams, "It's because I don't change, says God, that you don't fall apart." The Iona Community's New Members Programme offers space for discernment and for solidarity, for courage, to take a stand for hope. So here, as has become our tradition, here is a short video of two of our newest members, William Gibson in Glasgow and Sarah Lee Morris in Texas, sharing why this matters.
I'm Sarah Lee Morris, coming to you from Lubbock, Texas, USA. For those who are old enough, the home of Buddy Holly. I'm in the second year of the Iona Community New Member Program and looking forward to being hallowed in June.
And I am William Gibson. I am on the first year of the new members program. I'm currently on Iona as part of the new members program this week with a number of other people in person, but I am from Glasgow in Scotland. So Sarah Lee, do you want to tell me a little bit about how you have been finding the new members program so far?
It's been the most amazing process. The biggest challenge, as people might guess, has been geography. I am 6 hours away driving time from the nearest member or associate member of the community. And so connecting, thank goodness for technology and the community's willingness to engage technology. A great opportunity has been evangelism, which I could never imagine myself saying in past years. The opportunity to acquaint others with all the value that the community offers globally as well as locally. What about you, William?
For me, I would say that some of the challenges have become very apparent and noticeable while we've been here on Iona, as we've tried to remain connected with people who are taking part in the program, like yourselves, that are not able to be here in person with us for this week. So I think that will be a continual challenge going forward, especially as more people join the program from outside of the UK and outside of continental Europe. I think one of the joys of being part of the new members program is the fact that we are able to connect, even if it is in an imperfect way, but also that we're held by each other in prayer and in community. I think that it's great that as part of the daily life and rhythm of the community, that all of us at some point are prayed for and lifted up to God as part of the process. And it is a joy to be able to meet in person and online to talk about how we are experiencing all of this together.
Amen.
Thank you.
Hope that binds us together is broad and deep and long. Growing partnerships are an expression of our belief that while our story in the Iona community may be particular, we are not unique. We are all bound up in the web of God's oikoumene. So partnerships with the universities of Glasgow and Edinburgh and with the Student Christian Movement continue to expand our learning edge through the lens of students. Growing links with, for example, the Joint Public Issues team and with Oikosnet Europe expand our reflective practice and our political engagement. So too, our web of belonging is augmented by close relationships with sister communities around the globe, such as the Corrymeela community in Ireland or the Agape community in Italy. In 2023, we extended our relationship with the Wellspring community in these lands now called Australia. A 7-week creation care pilgrimage involved meeting with over 30 Indigenous Christian leaders focused on themes of climate justice and has brought a renewed urgency and a focus to our work as people of faith to reverse the catastrophic destruction of God's creation and to learn from Indigenous voices around the globe. And here's a short clip from the final stop of that pilgrimage.
Care for creation really just feels inherent to my being as an Aboriginal person, and walking with my elders and my ancestors, the elders past. It's what they've done for thousands of years. It's part of who we are as peoples. And, we do only have one planet. It is our common home. And as Aboriginal peoples in these lands now called Australia, we've worked with our neighbours to care for country. We were responsible for our own nation, but we worked with others all through since time immemorial. And so I hope people can tune into that. It's something that we can share together, learn from each other, and caring for creation is so important. So the words that echo in my ears, my mind, my heart, and my whole being are the words of many elders right across these lands now called Australia. Care for country, and country will care for you. And so It's been an incredible opportunity to walk softly and gently across these lands now called Australia as part of this pilgrimage. And I've seen so many times where spirituality and justice have met. And I think we need more of those moments in these lands now called Australia and in the world. And so I'm so grateful for the Wellspring community and the Iona community even coming together in that relationship. And so as Aboriginal peoples, we see the world in relationships, and that's our relationship between peoples, but with all of country as well. And so let's search together, let's create together, and let's meet together in those places of spirituality and justice.
Amidst the emergent hope core to our faith, we are also pragmatists. Our soon-to-be-launched strategic plan, therefore, will outline how we will continue not only to grow, but to deepen. It will illustrate how we aim to be a sustainable organisation, not only to stay afloat, but to play our part in the survival and flourishing of all of life. Nestled within the heart of our strategy will be a renewed commitment to youth work. Core to our identity these last 9 decades, being led and nurtured by voices of young people remains a driving principle in all that we do. And so our last word is given, as in previous years, to young people, this time from London, who took part in our youth festival in 2023 on Iona. They remind us of the hope that Joanna Macy and others have called the Great Turning. A hope that with pragmatism in the one hand and vision in the other, that we can continue to dig deep and respond to the wide call to a truth and a love that is greater than all that is wrong.
I'm glad I signed up. Even though it's a very small island, there's a lot to give. There's a lot of history and there's a lot of activities you can do. I had a lot of time to meditate and to keep to myself, and here I learned that even though things are small, they may have a lot to give, no matter how small it is. So yeah, I'm glad I came to Iona.
Just seeing how the young people from London engage with the young people from America, although they've come from kind of different backgrounds. It's been really beautiful seeing how, as the week progressed, they managed to gel together. Although maybe their life experiences were different, they found a similarity here on Iona.
Some of the highlights of the week were, first off, having our youth totally involved in worship, from scripture reading to playing instruments to singing, and it was a joy to see them so actively engaged in the worship here.
Ever since I've come here, there's been a lot of opportunities for me. I've actually played the piano in an evening service, and I sang in the morning as well, which was really fun, and I was happy I was able to have an opportunity to do something like that, which was amazing.
This is where you can relax, be peaceful, and just enjoy the nature, because you don't get this that much in like lots of places. And even though the weather is a bit bad, but that's Scotland for you.
Moderator, in a world where it is easy to worry, to despair, to surrender, it is good to have beacons of light, of hope, of courage, of community. The Iona community offers such a beacon, so thank you, Ruth, for sharing these insights into the life of the community. We all are invited to join in with the worship and songs. And please do join us for our We Sing at Augustine Church over lunch. We are also invited to join in with learning from one another, with standing up to injustice, with being encouraged and encouraging, with being inspired and inspiring. Before moving the deliverance, I should declare an interest, as I am in what I believe we call a close personal relationship with the staff lead of the Public Life and Social Justice Working Group of Hubbard. Moderator, I am pleased to present the report of the Iona Community Board, and I move the deliverance.
Seconded. All right, the Iona Community Board will come up and we will move to the deliverance. We've got a question in the name of Duncan McGee. Where are we? Am I missing him somewhere? Online, maybe? No? At lunch? Well, if he's not in the hall, we have to move on. I've no... Oh, you're there.
Oh.
Where? Oh, online. My apologies, I couldn't see you.
Moderator, Duncan McGee 01. I would like to commend the work done by the Iona community. I worked for the community 60 years ago, and I'm sure George MacLeod would have been thrilled with the way things have developed. It is a very ambitious programme, and a lot has been happening in terms of buildings, etc. My question is, are the finances of the Iona community in place to cope with this wonderfully ambitious programme they have set forward to us today?
Moderator, may I ask the leader to respond to this question?
Speak to the microphones, please.
Moderator, Annika Schütz-Bradwell, 67. May I ask the leader to respond to this question?
Yes, that's fine. Bruce?
Thank you for the question, and I can hopefully bring some reassurance. In the last 2 years, I've been working closely with a newly appointed Executive Director, Torsten Hack, whose primary responsibility is for the sustainability financially and in terms of all our resources of the community. And Torsten and I work as a joint team in leadership together with Council, our trustees, to ensure that any monies or any staff time given to the work of the community are stewarded and contained within the ambitions that we have. So our accounts are in front of our annual general meeting in a couple of weeks' time, and should show progress towards a break-even budget. We're not exactly breaking even, we're dipping into our resources, but we're cognizant of that, and we're trying to limit the amount of times we have to dip into our resources. So we have a dedicated staff team, an equipped council, and a community resources committee working with Torsten to bring real deep sustainability to our work. It's a work in progress. Thank you, Duncan, for the question.
Right, thank you. No other questions on the screen, so we'll move then to receive the report. Right, I'm just waiting a moment. Online, that is fine. No other questions or comments coming in. We can move to section 2. And online, section 3. Section 4. Section 5. And the deliverance as a whole. Right. We could have done that before lunch if only we'd known. Thank you very much, committee and convener.